late 1870s. And when they started excavating, it would have been 1 or 2 foot wide vein of very rich silver ore. And that's the entire reason that this particular construction is here. Later on, you've already no doubt noticed there's a pool of green water in the bottom here. It's called the Winds. That was dug probably about 10 years later to try and explore any mineralization on the bottom. And for those of you in the back, you guys are going to get a chance to see this as well. If you get on up close to the fence, you can see my light goes down about 40 feet. This is about 2,000 feet of visibility. And it goes down another 60 to 2 further levels below us, which are pretty obviously flooded.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they would have used a non-electric water pump that worked on a principle similar to blowing bubbles in chocolate milk to force the water out of the mine. Even with the best pump technology of the day, they were still working about knee-deep water. You guys felt it? It's pretty cold.
Yeah.
If you ever gotten the bottom of your jeans wet, you know it soaks all the way up to your waist, and you're pretty soggy throughout the rest of the day. Another fun fact about this, the water that's in there and actually flowing beneath your feet drains into Clear Creek right outside. And it's actually eventually used to make Coors beer. So you're drinking Lebanon mine water every time you take a sip. So you guys, in the back, you get a chance to see up here?
We don't drink beer.
That's the vein of silver.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, the black stuff?
That black stuff, yeah.
The blacks? Where?
Yeah, you're right, except you ever had good silverware that kind of gets black?
Yeah.
This is because this stuff is oxidized. So what they had to do was take it outside, crush it down, and ultimately smelt it, which was basically burning it in the presence of carbon, which then binds with the oxide and the silver to form carbon dioxide and leaves behind the shiny stuff that everybody was after.
So we just did a mine, but in real life it's like takes years, just takes years and years.
For those of you who didn't get to hear, we had why are there 3 rails? The rightmost outer rail was installed in the 70s to accommodate full-ton ore carts that your helmets were in. The original are the middle and the leftmost rails, which would have been half-ton ore carts. And the reason we don't use those today is very simply because they're light enough that you can pick them up and put them in the back of your pickup truck, and that's what happened to most of them around here. You can see them down in Denver as lawn ornaments mainly today. So right above our heads in here, you guys will notice some moldy-looking logs and snot skulls hanging down off of them. Everything's original except for the tire. I'm not really sure why they left that there. But this actually obscures what's called a raise. And this goes up to the upper levels, of which there are 3. We're on the 3rd of 6. And what they would do is park an ore cart right where you folks are sitting right here and just shovel the ore and waste rock directly into that cart so that they didn't have to do any more work than they absolutely had to. And I can't really blame them. It was a pretty hard life up here, 9,000 feet. Most of them died pretty young. So at this point, we got 2 things that we generally like to show. First of all, for those of you in Carlsbad, you're familiar with stalactites. We have them too, except they're much smaller. There's these little bitty drips coming off the ceiling. And you also have doubtless heard that if you touch them, the oil on your fingers will stop them from growing. I think that's a darn shame because they already take 100 years to grow about an inch. And in 3 million years, we're looking forward to being the next Carlsbad cavern. So just leave these alone. If you guys got an overwhelming urge to touch some calcite, we have sacrificial rock right over here. Feel free to touch that all you want. You'll also notice directly to the left of that calcite, there's this big old crack in the wall with some more of that silver-bearing black rock. This is another vein of silver, and you can actually watch it travel all the way over our heads and into this second drift right here. And that's why it's here. Now, if you guys use your imagination and picture this without 12-foot ceilings and more like 5, you'll have the approximate dimensions of those 2 flooded tunnels below us. And that's simply because this is a haulage tunnel. This is where everything was brought in and out. And down there, they just followed the contours of the rock and chased the minerals. Also, that's pretty much how much light they had to work in back in the day. In fact, that's pretty generous because we have 2 interns in there. And you guys will get to see in the back. I'll bring you up past here so you get a chance. So again, you'd do me a favor, head on up to that light cylinder over it. If you didn't get a chance, touch our slimy looking rock right here. Not nearly as slimy as you look.
Not really.
It's cool.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right, does it? It's kind of funky. And you guys who didn't get to see in here, like I was saying, this is pretty close to the width dimensions, about 2 feet 4 inches.
Not really.
of the tunnel.
I was gonna think it was muddy. I was gonna think it muddy.
Yeah. End the video. Bye guys, and see you in our next video.
Yeah, we're posting this to YouTube, right? To show them our trip on Colorado.
Yeah.
Bye.